Welcome to Blue Stripes Bible. Here we are in Blue Stripes Cacao Shop in Greenwich Village, New York City, in the shadow of New York University. Here we are in chapter 13 in the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers in the wilderness. And we have the famous narrative of the sin of the scouts, the Chet HaMeraglim. Now, in biblical thought, this sin is on par with the sin of the golden calf. It's that egregious in its elements. In short, Moses sends a group of leaders on a reconnaissance mission. He gives them very specific questions and data to bring back. And they bring back a factual report, but a very negative report. And as the report kind of transmits throughout the people, they exaggerate kind of the dangers that they'll encounter. There are a lot of murmurings and almost vocal opposition to Moses' leadership and a threat to go back to Egypt under different leadership. And ultimately, as we'll see at the end actually of the next chapter, chapter 14, God decrees that this generation must die out in the wilderness and can't enter the lands of Israel, the promised lands, in a very tragic episode. What would you have said, both to the people who were bringing the report back, but maybe more importantly, to the Israelites who were receiving this report, to perhaps contain or control the mass hysteria that ensues in this narrative?
Well, look, this report is really about the erosion of trust in public institutions, something which we definitely see in American society today. They just don't believe Moshe's story. Right? Trust in public institutions have to do with the believability that those institutions produce. And if at a certain time that story is no longer believable, people will not trust the people who are leading it. And that's what you see with Moshe. Moshe had a story of liberation that he offered the people. And after a certain point, they don't believe it. They say the food was better there, our material welfare was better in Egypt, and we're even taking us. We're going to get destroyed. So Moshe's whole narrative gets cut down, and therefore the people just don't trust him.
So how do you instill that sense of trust?
Sometimes the narrative has to evolve. What we don't see is a change in Moshe's narrative. Maybe he didn't prepare them sufficiently for the hardship that they would experience in the desert. Maybe he didn't prepare them for the way that they temporarily would not have everything that they did have. Remember, his promise to them was a promise of material benefit.
Amazing. So would you say, Moshe was a failed leader?
I think his narrative had to evolve.
Thank you.